welcome back to my channel. I am starting this video in kind of like a vloggy style, and it is actually quite a long time away from the other parts that were filmed in this video. Basically, I had a trip, well, I actually had two trips to London for work purposes. The first one was quite some time ago, and that was actually at the time of like New Year, but I'm just kind of looking at this back and realizing that there are some parts that aren't really clear, and also I realized that the first trip that I filmed, I sort of just stopped at some point. So I started off really well and then I kind of stopped. So the first time I went down, I went just before New Year. So I was actually in London for the New Year. So I did go to like a fireworks display. I'm really not a fireworks person, but my niece and nephew wanted to go to the fireworks, so I went along and I kind of cringed every time there was a bang. I'm not a fireworks person. So I was actually in London for the New Year, which is a very long time ago from when this will be going out. But anyway, the purpose of this video was that I was going down, and the first trip I went down on a train. So on that trip, I was very, very prepared for my journey. So of course, if you're going down on the train, you have a lot more flexibility as to what you can take with you. So when I was going down, I knew I was going to be going by the train. I really wanted to focus on, number one, kind of eating well. And number two, I really wanted to focus on being conscious about the fact that I was going to be eating a lot on the go, and I didn't want to be creating a lot of waste, and waste financially. You know, I didn't want to waste a lot of money traveling and eating out, but I also didn't want to, be taking using a lot of unnecessary packaging for like food on the go and that kind of thing. So I was in a better position on the first trip to think ahead and decide what I wanted to take with me. So I took my neon cactus water bottle. I prepared some snacks and things like that. So the first trip down, in terms of the actual journey, was a lot more successful on that front. But it was less successful in the sense, like I said, is that it was extremely busy, because I was there for work and I was there for a shorter period of time. So I just really got caught up in that, and time just flew away. I started off with all the best intentions in terms of filming, but that really went all out the window. And pretty much, actually, I didn't eat out that much. So the only two places that I actually ate was Lyon while I was traveling, and you'll see a clip of what I had there. Lyon is a place that I really do like. I like the food there. It doesn't tend to sort of irritate me at all or leave me feeling rubbish. So I do quite like the food at Lyon. So that's another place. That's one place, first off, that if you're traveling and you're on the go in London, Lyon is a good place to kind of hit up if you're wanting half decent food on the go. The other place that I ate out was Honest Burger. Now, this is somewhere that there are not a lot of things that I miss about living in London, but an Honest Burger, and it sounds really silly, but that is something that I miss. Honest Burger is basically what it says. The idea of Honest Burger when they started up was that they would create sort of like food that was just kind of simple, plain ingredients, without all the rubbish, basically, without all the preservatives, without all the heavy additives, without all the extra oil and grease and muck that goes into that. So it's really just quality burgers, which far surpass the burger options that are actually more expensive or in some cases that are kind of on par price wise. But for the price of it, Honest Burger is just one of the best places that I've actually ever had a burger from, basically. And you can actually taste in those burgers that they're really nice quality ingredients. So it was somewhere that I had on my list that I really, really wanted to go. And I had one day where I was kind of out and about in the area where sort of like my sister lives, and we'd gone along to no, wait, let me get the sequence of this right. So I had one day in between where I wasn't working. So I had one day set aside that I could spend basically with my family. So, but what I also wanted to do while I was there, it was on my list, was that I really wanted to visit a Sweaty Betty. And it turned out that not too far away in the area of Dulwich, there is a Sweaty Betty store. And again, bear in mind, this is like surrounding Christmas time. This was like before the New Year. I think it might have even been on New Year's Eve, actually, that I decided that I was going to go along to Sweaty Betty. Now, for some reason, I had looked up the opening times and everything, but I'd left it quite late in the day for going there. I'd looked up the opening times, and they hadn't kind of updated them for their holiday hours. So we'd gone there, arrived, and it was closed. And I think it had literally just closed like maybe 15 minutes before I got there. So that was really, really frustrating. We could actually see the people inside like closing up, you know, getting the store all kind of closed up. So that's how kind of close it was to missing the opening time there. And then we had said, because it was like later on in the day and we hadn't eaten, at that point was like, okay, we're going to jump in somewhere and have some lunch. So we ended up going to a place that was basically next door that I'd visited lots and lots of times when I actually did live in London. A place called the Bishop, and it's basically like a kind of a bistro pub. And I'd been there lots of times before. Found that the service there was amazing. The food was generally pretty good, and I think we'd actually done. When I lived in London, I'm pretty sure we'd had some like works parties there before. And it was really, really good. So we went in and it was open. We had to actually wait because I think it was like maybe 15 minutes or something from their opening time for the evening. So we waited outside, waited 15 minutes, went inside, got our seats, got the menu. We'd looked at the menu and I think me and my sister both looked at each other at a time because the menu was kind of limited. Now, I don't know if that was because of New Year or that was a result of whatever's happened over kind of like COVID times. But the menu had changed a lot and it was kind of limited. So we both kind of looked at each other like, there's nothing that we really, really fancied on the menu at that time. But we were kind of in there and the people were really nice. So we were like, okay, right, we're going to choose a few bits. And then we chose a few bits, and the things that we actually wanted, the guy had said, I think some things have changed on the menu. I don't think everything's available. Gone up to the counter and been told by the chef that a few of the things that we'd selected weren't available. He kind of went over the menu with her. She'd crossed off what was and wasn't available. He'd come back, so we'd placed another order. He went back up to the counter, and the poor man, honestly, I think the ground could have just swallowed him up, because then when he got there with a few of the bits that we had ordered, she was like, oh, actually, no, I was wrong. They're not available either. So basically at that point, we just said, you know what? Not meant to be. Let's just move on and go somewhere else. Like I said, the poor man, he was not amused. He was super, super nice, but he was not amused at all. But like I said, that's kind of strange. It's not really a reflection on the place. I think it was just one of those days where it really wasn't happening for us at that place. So that's at the point that we moved on to Honest Burger, and we actually ended up going there and sitting in. And they actually had a kombucha there. Anyone who knows me knows I'm quite a fan of kombucha. And it was a local, I think, kombucha. I'm sure it was either from like the Peckham area or something like that. So if you are living in that area, there is actually an Honest Burger in Peckham, just off one of the side streets from the high street. And there is also one in the area of Borough, near Borough Market. There's actually an Honest Burger there as well. we went along to the one in Peckham. Again, amazing service there. The people were so friendly. It was really, really busy. And both my sister and actually my niece and nephew, who are both quite young, remarked on how good the service was there and how pleasant the people taking our orders and serving us were. They were just really sort of, upbeat, but not like over the top. And just, it was just really, really nice. So the food didn't let me down. It hasn't gone downhill since I was there last. So if you are visiting London, you have the opportunity to go to an Honest Burger, make sure you go there. It's the kind of burger that leaves you feeling full, but you don't feel horrible. And you don't like suffer for it the next day. You don't feel like groggy and awful. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. So Honest Burger, absolutely recommend. Amazing. Fantastic food. So that is my little story. And basically after that major fail, I don't know what it was. Like, obviously I was on a roll with like filming and that kind of stuff. And that was just like such a disaster that I think it really just knocked me off track. So you can see it was just like a knock-on effect of all these different things that had kind of happened that day. And the whole day just wasn't panning out. I don't know if that was a combination of the fact that I had done some work before that and I was really tired, and then these circumstances kind of added on top of that. And then pretty much when I was working, we were eating our meals like as a team. And we were working like flat out back to back. So, and it was things that I can't really film and share with you yet. These are things that will be coming out later down the line, quite big, exciting things that have required a lot of work, but nothing that I could kind of film. So I managed to get a few clips of a couple of the meals that we kind of ate together as a team. So that was, again, I avoided waste there because we were cooking, like proper fresh food. I say we were cooking, I wasn't cooking at all. I like to do that a lot. You'll notice that other people kind of do things and I like to use the royal we when I had nothing to do with it. So yeah, the cooking side of things, I was basically, very kindly fed. But basically that's why the first trip I didn't get much footage at all. But I wanted to add in a little bit just to kind of show travelling by the train, the steps that I was taking to make it a bit more, to keep my principles with me as I was travelling, if that makes sense. And the travelling of, the principles of kind of reducing, continuing to make my, to continue with my efforts to reduce waste, and the efforts to basically eat well on the go. So that was the first trip, and yeah, that was it in a summary. So the next trip I will, you might see me again. If there's little bits that I've kind of missed out talking about, then you're going to kind of see me in this setting again, chipping in little bits and bobs. So now I'm going to cut to the second trip, which I did a lot better in terms of vlogging.
Let's get scratching.
Hello. As you can tell by the title and the start of this video, I am in London at the moment. I'm here for a bit of a mix of things. I'm here for a mixture of work and a bit of dog sitting, actually. This is actually my second time in London in January. I was down for work about 2 weeks ago as well. So I captured a little bit of footage there, but I didn't really complete it. The first time round I came down on the train. When I came down, I started really well filming what I was eating, and then it kind of went a bit AWOL. I think the only things I really captured was one day when I was out and I had a Leon. I had the satay chicken, so if I've still got that footage, I'll put it over now so you can see if you've never been to Leon before. I really like their food because they generally do have like brown rice, and I wouldn't say it's like so healthy, but it's relatively healthy food. So it's one of the places that I feel quite comfortable eating out at if I'm out and about, because their food doesn't tend to irritate me in any way. So I always think Lyon's quite a good place to eat. And I did capture a little bit of our the meals that we had. So we were working all day as a team for a couple of days, and I captured a few of our meals that we had. But this time round, I'm actually committed to being a bit better with the actual vlogging side of it, because I've never done that really on my channel before, apart from like the garden transformation and things like that, but that's a bit different. This is my first time actually trying to capture footage when I'm like out and about on my own and remembering to do that. So I flew down this time from Edinburgh Airport. It was quite late actually, so I'd already eaten at home. I didn't take that because it was kind of standard things I eat at home. But in the airport, it was a little bit weird actually. I really didn't think that in one of the main airports that everything would close so early. Maybe that's because in like the London airports, I don't think it closes as early. So I got there about, by the time I got through security and everything, it was about 6 o'clock. And apart from like Burger King and Pret and Costa, all of the other food places were closed, and majority of the shops were closed as well, it was really weird actually. The airport was pretty quiet in general. There wasn't even many people really. Well, it didn't seem like there was that many people until you were actually going and queuing to get on the flight. But yeah, it was a bit strange. Everything was kind of closed, and even though Costa and Pret were open, Nero was closed. So I really didn't fancy anything from Pret. I usually do like Pret, but even that had been pretty much bought out really, and there was only a few things left. So in the end, I ended up getting some dried mango, and I ended up getting their mango and banana sunshine bowl. I've had that quite a few times in Pret, which I really enjoy. It's kind of like a go-to, and it was quite light. It was late at night, so I really didn't. By the time I actually ate it, it was coming more towards like 7:30 or something. I just really wasn't in the mood, so I thought something like that would do the trick. And Pret, like I said, it's a safe go-to for me, so I ended up getting that. And then I was really bad that day for like travelling and working and getting organised. I really didn't drink enough at all. So by the time I'd eaten, I realised that I was really, really thirsty. And then I kind of had like the internal dilemma of not wanting to buy a water in a plastic bottle. So in the end, I went to look in the WH Smith's because that was open as well. I actually found quite a nice brand called Cano. So it is, you can either get sparkling or like normal still water, but in a can instead, so it's recyclable and it avoids using the plastic. So I got that. I was really pleased to see that they had some other options available in the airport apart from just plastic bottles for water, so that was really good to see. There was another one in there called Bottle Up, which was made, I think it said it was made out of sugarcane or something like that. If that's not correct, I'll put on the screen what it's actually made out of. So the idea of that bottle is that it's made out of alternative to plastic, but it's also a bottle that you can reuse. Thanks, Ali. The reason I didn't get that one is because, I'll be honest, even though it's a good idea and it's a good option, it was really expensive. I think it was like, for something like 500 mils, it was like £4.50 almost. Whereas the can option was more reasonably priced, so I ended up getting that. And it had actually the can. The good thing about the can, I think I actually took a clip of it as well. The good thing about that one was that it actually had, on the top, you were able to seal it back up. So if you were drinking it and carrying it about with you, you could actually seal it back up and obviously so it would be portable. So that was quite good. And then I ended up buying the pip and nut peanut butter cup. Sorry, the cat's going to knock this off. Ali! I ended up buying the pip and nut peanut butter cups because I know that's a brand that I quite like, and I just took it with me in case I got peckish a bit later. I didn't end up actually. I ended up not eating it. I carried it around. And then once I got to London, I went to my sister's and just crashed out. I literally just was absolutely knackered. By the time I actually reached her door, it was near on 12 o'clock, so I was absolutely knackered. The next day, I didn't have a particularly balanced breakfast. I ended up having just a pain au chocolat and a coffee. Then I pretty much just kind of recovered for the first part of the day at my sister's house. Didn't do very much. And then we ended up walking to my mum's house, which was a good, I don't know how long that takes, maybe 20 minutes walk or something like that. And then for sort of a very late lunch dinner, I did end up getting a Deliveroo because I think I don't know which video is going to go out first, either this one or a review that I've done. And I was mentioning in that since I've moved to Scotland, to Angus, one of the things I really do miss, I don't miss much about London, but one of the things I really do miss is Vietnamese food. We don't have it there, or if somebody does know of one and they want to tell me about it, I've not managed to find one. It's one of the things that I really, really miss, and I can't find any decent kind of Asian food at all, really. And that's quite a broad statement. That covers lots of different kind of cuisines, but I haven't found any good ones really in Angus, I have to say. So if you know of any, let me know, because it's something that I'm really missing. So I did end up getting a Deliveroo of a Vietnamese. So I ended up getting spring rolls, which the Vietnamese spring rolls they're slightly different from the ones that you typically get in, like a Chinese takeaway or... sorry, the cat's really desperately trying to get my attention. So the spring rolls are slightly different. I really like them. And then I ended up getting a fried rice and a Vietnamese curry. I didn't eat all we got one portion and my sister and I actually split that. But after that I was really full up. I didn't want anything else the rest of the day. I think it was a combination of still tiredness from travelling, a bit of everything really, but I found myself really not that hungry. Okay, so one thing that I realised that I didn't actually speak about, I did speak about the place that I got stuff from via Deliveroo, which was called Pho. Basically, I just kind of wanted to add in that I had mentioned that I really, really had missed Vietnamese food, which I do, and I was really, really saddened actually to find that three of them, basically, so three Vietnamese restaurants that I used to eat in very frequently, that were actually some of my favourite places to eat, and also, I'd share them with other people, and they were really, really good places and actually very, very popular. I was really sad to discover that they hadn't made it through COVID because they were independent businesses. They were quite small businesses, and basically they didn't make it out the other side of COVID. So that was really, really sad. So hence why I ended up trying pho, because somewhere else that I'd never tried before. And in all honesty, the food was okay. It was fine. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was, worth a try. When I go back, would I go back there again? Probably not. I wouldn't go out of my way to go there. But equally, like I said, the food wasn't bad. And I also think that might be a testament to, like I said, the 3 places that I used to eat that are no longer there. They were exceptionally good. So I think that obviously I went back expecting to see those places. They weren't there anymore. So I was kind of comparing that to them, and obviously the food that they did, I was obviously fancying that, and that wasn't there. So that may well have overshadowed that food as well. So like I said, the food was okay, not exceptional, not anything special. But it's just something that I kind of want to add in here, which might make this really, really long-winded. I'm really sorry about that. But it's just the message that I wanted to put in, because not only just in London, locally here as well in Angus, I've also, well, one particular place that I used to frequent has also again closed down. And equally, this is a side effect from the pandemic, and the lasting effects that that's had on a lot of small businesses. And equally, something that's kind of happened is, what I feel anyway, is that we went through a stage during that period where a lot of these small independent, like farm shops, food shops, people were kind of shouting about supporting them, and people were kind of talking about how these places got us through when the supermarkets were sold out, which is absolutely true. I mean, like, you know, me during those periods, I relied on, I mean, I'm somebody who shops in those kind of places anyway, but I had found that, you know, a lot of the places that were kind of supermarkets and things that were sold out and people were rushing to them finding, the smaller shops, they did save the day, and some saw an increase in custom, but then once things kind of opened up again, they were kind of forgotten about, and the shop local, support local message, I don't know, I feel like it kind of got lost and forgotten about along the way. And you know, I know a lot of us are feeling the hit of rising prices. Everybody's feeling it. And these small businesses, they are also going to be falling victim to this as well. And they're going to be feeling the brunt. They are. So basically, yeah, there are a lot of businesses that have had the pandemic to deal with, and then they're also dealing with these rising prices, and they just can't compete with the big competitors, particularly if they're not receiving the support. So I wanted to kind of add this in there as a message, just to say, please don't forget about your small local businesses. Please do still support them. You know, seek out your, like I said, your independent businesses, support your local markets, support your zero waste shops in particular. I've just spoken about one that I discovered when I was down in London on Bellington Road, which borderlines kind of the Peckham and the East Dulwich area. Such a nice place, amazing, lovely place. I actually now follow them quite closely on social media. They are a really nice place. The people, that I don't know if it's the same. I don't know. It's not particularly business. It's not particularly big business. So I would imagine it would kind of be like the same people that I met in the shop that I speak to on their social media account. They're just so nice, and like, I've only been there the once, but they're still so nice, and it was a really great experience. So if you are somebody who lives in that area, go and check them out. But equally, if you don't live in that area, if you have a small business like that, if you have a zero waste shop, please do check them out. Please do support them, because like I said, we've just had one local to us close, and I know that speaking to one of the people from Gather, there are ones in London that are closing down as well for exactly the same reasons. And for me, it just feels like a huge step backwards, where we're going backwards. zero waste shops were kind of popping up everywhere, and it felt like, the movement was kind of going forward. And now they're closing down. It feels like we're going back in time. We're forgetting the messages. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It just feels to me like we're taking a step backwards. So important. Please do support your local businesses, your local restaurants, your local your independent restaurants, independent food places, like I said, your markets, that kind of thing. Support them. They really do need it. They are also, for the majority of them, their income isn't, going to be huge in comparison to a lot of the, it's going to be nothing compared to the chains. So you think of what the effects are going to be on them, not only individually as people, as human beings running their own households, but equally on their, on their businesses, for the prices going up. So please do look, and please don't be under the illusion that shopping in small businesses is always more expensive, because that's definitely not the case. It's okay to go in and have a look and do your price comparisons by all means, but please don't just assume that it's a more expensive way to shop, because that's usually not the case. So please do support your local businesses, support them, because that was a really sad moment for me, seeing that those exceptionally good food places, and that's somebody who's a very picky eater saying that, are no longer there. And it's happening all too often. So please do support your local businesses. Yeah, having said that, I'm going to get back to the other bits.
I was just tired. I actually just ended up just sitting on the sofa, because this is my family home, I should say. This is my family home. So I ended up just greeting the dogs, greeting all the animals, and then just sitting on the sofa. I ended up watching Cruella, and then I've gotten into the series Dollhouse. It's not a new one, but I've never seen it before. Quite enjoying that. It's a good series. If you've never seen it before, might be worth one checking out. It's not new, but it's really good. So like I said, I'm here to kind of pet sit as well. So I'm here with my family pets. Although I didn't do very much, they all kept me busy. They all kept me busy and kept me company. So that was that.
So I'm just popping it on here because it seems like this video would be getting really, really long at this point. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it into what I hope will be 2 parts. So in the next part, you will be coming along with me shopping around some areas in London. Well, pretty much one area in London, the area of Dulwich, which was a really, really nice day out. I found some really nice small businesses. So hopefully you will check back in for that. So on that note, I really hope that you have enjoyed this video so far and enjoyed seeing what I got up to while I was back in London. If you have enjoyed and you are planning to come back and see the second half of the trip and what I got up to then please do hit the subscribe button, because then you will be notified when that video goes up. If you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more of this kind of content, then please do give the video a thumbs up, because that really helps me to know what people are interested in, basically, because I'm kind of interested in sharing all like the the different bits. It all kind of fits in with my interests. So yeah, like I said, if you did like this video and you plan to come back, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, and I think I said that earlier, if you have any recommendations, please do leave them in the comments below. But as I say, I'm going to sign off now and see you the next time.